Hello Facebook ads people, I'm Konstantinos, and today we're going to give a very big applause to Facebook. Well done Facebook, well done. You made the whole world angry with you. So this is just an extra video because something crazy happened yesterday with the Facebook platform. I will start with the story, I will give you print screens and I will tell you what you should have done and what you should do now and everything, because basically it's a very big mess and we need to see what we can do or what you should do in a future situation like that. So yesterday, it was Sunday. I was in a dinner with my wife. It was about 3 o'clock my time, which means that at this time it would be 9 o'clock in the United States. Earlier to that, somebody from Romania sent me a message and he tells me that hey, I'm seeing something on my ad account and I can see that it's spending super fast and everything. So I told him that this is a typical behavior in Sunday and it's happening. He was also having cost caps, so these things do happen. And in Sunday, in most of the time, people, they tend to spend later in the evening and not in the morning. So we are very used to having bad ROAS on Sunday. And then while I was with my wife having the dinner, I look my phone and I see 45 emails or something like that, or 50, or in the course of 10 minutes. And I'm watching and I always have the notifications on Facebook about receipts, about ads being approved and stuff, because I like to keep a track of what is happening. Even if I'm deleting some of them fast, I like to see, and this is how I understood it, because I could see that I was getting from my big accounts receipt, which means that it was spending super fast. So the first thing that came to my mind, it wasn't that there was an issue with the Facebook platform, but the first thing that came to my mind, it was that Konstantinos, you fucked up, you did something wrong. Maybe yesterday you touched on budget and from 10k to you put it 100k, now it's spending like crazy. I'm watching one of the accounts that's spending 40k per day, and I can see that already, just like at 9 a.m. in the morning, it has spent 34k, which is 80% of the budget or whatever the math is. And that made me start thinking that either I did something wrong. So I checked on my laptop, which I always carry with me, and I could see that I did no mistake on the budgets. So I realized that there is something wrong, and then I started checking and stuff on forums and everything, and then everybody was starting calling me and stuff, and it was becoming known more and more and more that Facebook actually fucked up and they had a problem with the distribution of the ads in the delivery, and they were spending all of the budgets immediately. So let's see a little bit how this was unraveled. Let me show you some things and then we go to conclusions. So I'm going to show just 2 print screens just so that you can understand, and then I will tell you why this has happened, because it's not only about what happened, but I want you to understand why it has happened, why the results were bad. So we can see just in 2 random accounts that I have here. In one of them, yesterday 23 April, because apparently this is super early in the morning of Monday, because I'm trying to do this content super fast to tell you what to do, but most of you have panicked and you close your ads, which is fine if you're spending 100 or 200. What we have here is 0.31 ROAS, 0.28 ROAS, and we see 11k spent and 18. Now, not only it has spent super fast all the budget, but it spent more than the budget that it was supposed to spend in a day. So let's say if the budget here was 25, it spent 30. Not 30, let's say 30, it spent 35, something like that. So the situation is this. It's actually pushing, and I'm going to show some tweets from Triple Whale that is explaining it. It's actually pushing all the budget of the day in some hours in the morning, and this is causing the competition to go so high that I could see clicks going from $1 or $2 to 15. I could see CPMs going from 10 or 20 to 70 and stuff like that, and of course the ROAS was like this. And this is also proving the fact that when we say in this channel that it's all related to the traffic that you're getting and all of the competition that you're having, which is actually going to cost you sales if you're not competitive enough, if your offer is not so good, if you're competing with many people that they're advertising at the same time. This is what is influencing the CPMs, the cost of traffic, and then the conversions. I have to clarify here that all of this has happened for ad accounts that, and for campaigns of course, that they were doing conversion ads and purchase most of the times, and it didn't affect messaging campaigns, it didn't affect some lead gen campaigns, but it also affected others. But in general, it was all about conversion ads with purchase event. Now, if we see the next one, we can see here that yesterday it spent 44k, 0.68. I can tell you that the situation was much worse. The reason that I'm showing you this ad account is this. It has spent 37k up to 10 a.m. in the morning. And then the rest is being spent for the whole day, because what I have done here is I went and I closed campaigns that I have seen that, for example, they had 5k budget and they spent 4,500. No, sorry. Basically, these campaigns were not closed. Basically, I lowered the budget to these ones to 4k. So on that way, I'm making it not to spend more. And what happened here is that in this specific situation, the account started recovering after some point, which is also something that happened because a lot of people started closing their ads. So we had much less competition during that day. And of course, some were actually saying that you should close. Some said, like me, that you should not close. But this is something that we will analyze in a little bit. But you can see still here that this ad account got 0.68 while it was getting 1.3, 1.4 with this kind of spends. We have talked about the big accounts that they have this kind of digital products and they can work with this kind of profit margins. And over here, what I want you to actually notice is that the whole amount of 0.68 recovered after the 5 o'clock in the evening. Until that point, we were having 0.2 and maybe 0.3 after we have started slowing down some spends. Let's see what we have here. This is the metastatus.com, and it's actually showing you if there is a problem with the servers of Facebook. You can see that the second one over here, it says major disruptions. And if you go on the other one, you can see that it says ads delivery, major distribution ads delivery. We're aware of an issue that may be impacting ad delivery across all services. Our engineering teams are aware and are actively looking to resolve the issue as quickly as possible. And also we can see that we have a tweet here that says ad delivery, it's fact across our whole portfolio and all meta business ad accounts. CPMs are up to 200 to 500%. I also agree with that. By the point that he's writing this tweet, this is what was happening yesterday, and all other metrics are fucked up completely. Happy Earth Day. Yeah, that's the truth. We were seeing all of these crazy CPMs, and then it started slowing down, basically because a lot of people closed their ads, because a lot of people starting to lower the spends, because the engineering team found it and stopped doing it. Anyway, it started slowing down after that, but the whole point is that it spent 80% of the budget during that period of the time. So me, I'm having 40 accounts. Another person is having 40 accounts. Triple Whale talked about what happened from a sample of 2,500 accounts, so it's very important to see. And they say, by 10 a.m. EST, on a typical Sunday this morning, spend across a sample of 2,300 shops in the US using Triple Whale was about 1.5 million. So far, in Sundays, this is what it was seeing. 1.5 million only. By 10 a.m. Okay, not on the whole day, but I find it a little bit low in 2,300 shops to spend only 1.5 million. Anyway, today it was more like 3.7 million. Even with these smaller numbers that Triple Whale is actually giving, what we can see is that it doubled. And it doubled actually basically in the 10 first hours. So we had another 14 hours. So Imagine having a budget of 3.7 million for the whole day, but it's being spent in the first 10 hours of the day. Now, a lot of problems with that. First of all, Facebook and all the platforms that I know, they don't have good results in the early hours of the day. We have the prime hours where people are buying more. So spending all the money then, it doesn't make any sense. The second thing that is happening here is that if you take all the budget and you spend it in a specific hour of the day, then everybody's competing with each other with much higher cost. It means that if, for example, tomorrow we have a spend of 1.5 million, let's say just 1 million, just to put it with a very simple example, in the whole platform, let's say it's 1 million. Let's make it 1 trillion so that it would make sense. With 1 trillion in the whole platform, and then we go and we spend 2 trillions, this is going to affect all of the ads because everything is going to become more expensive. It means that we're going to compete with each other with more spend and everything. And I believe that this is what happened over here. This is why the CPMs skyrocketed, the cost per click, the traffic and everything, because all of the spend went in these hours and everybody was competing with each other. 147% with nothing to show for it. We feel for other brands impacted and everything, blah, blah, blah. Now, we see another mail over here that says, all campaigns spend 125% of daily budgets. Auto or manual bidding has no different. I agree with that. Accounts spend over their account limits. This is true. None of the stop loss rules worked native or on third party, and 10 hours later still having major delivery issues. I don't agree with the rules anyway, and I just believe that this is our work. If I was in a restaurant and in 30 minutes I was at home in order to solve the issue, this is our work. Facebook ads are spending every day. So even on a Sunday, even on, it doesn't matter when, if there is a problem, we will have to see it. You cannot just put rules. And by the way, they didn't even work in this specific case. Okay, so by the way, Triple Whale was also saying that you should put rules and stuff. I totally disagree with rules. I think that you should be on top of your ads or hire somebody who is going to watch everything. And it makes total sense, guys, because whenever something like this is happening, Triple Whale is going to say that we saved our clients with our rules. I'm going to say that I saved my clients because I was at home on 30 minutes and I managed the whole situation. Everybody is going to show how they manage the situation and how they believe that it should be resolved. Then we have Reddit that it was having, is anyone ad spending like crazy this morning? And we see messages like, yes, I've spent 91% of my budget by 1 p.m. lol. And then we go to the Triple Whale and they say that what I told you, that what can we take away from today going forward? Fail safes are imperative. No, they are not. Stop being idiots using one situation just to propose something that makes sense for you if you don't have the experience with it. Have you ever run Facebook ads? You cannot use rules and everything because it's going to mess all of your results. Maybe later an AI can do it efficiently, but not right now. And then we go to the final thing that I want to discuss today. What could we have done? What could we have done? I have seen several opinions across the internet. I will tell you mine and my friends and the things that I have discussed with owners and everything. The initial thing that somebody would think is I would close my ads because it doesn't make any sense. Well, you have the luxury of doing that. If you're spending 100 or 200 per day, it doesn't matter. You can close your ads and you can start them all over again, fine. But when you're spending 40k, like the account that I showed you, 30k, whatever, you cannot just close the ads and start them all over again the next day. Now, there are two things that are going to happen. First of all, a lot of accounts recovered a lot of their money during the hours of the day that everybody closed their ads. This is the same principle from the other side that says that a lot of people close their ads, so less competition, better results. This is thing number one. Now, is it profitable? No, it's not still profitable, but at least you're keeping your ads for the next day, because the next day everybody is going to launch their ads, and these ads that they don't have results, and we're going to talk a little bit about the training and if they lost it. These ones that they don't have results, they're going to compete with each other, so it's going to be a battle of new ads that they are starting to gathering data, but they don't have data, so they're going to compete with each other in a competition of CPM for new ads. For the other ones that they have some data, they will continue be using them. I don't believe that they lost their learnings. I believe that they can still use them. We will see in the next days how they're going to behave and how much money is going to be lost and if the campaigns are actually lost. But for now, what makes sense, at least to my head, is to keep the campaigns and use this data, because a lot of people have closed their ads and they're going to start launching new campaigns which are going to compete with all the new campaigns, and you as an old campaign, you have already data in order to have better results from them. Now, some people proposed immediately to close the ads, and I know that others, they have done it. In my case, when an owner was proposing that, I was telling them that this is not correct, and I was trying to convince them through that way, and I was actually right. I have seen several people having different opinions and stuff and saying, but I have seen also a lot of people, reputable people, to also say, for example, I have this message: this is hard for a lot of you to hear, but during a big Facebook ads bug outage like today's, the best thing you can do is nothing. I totally agree. Well, not nothing, just touch a little bit the budgets in order to slow down the process of spending super fast, but still, even closing one campaign, just don't close your whole campaigns. The more changes you make, the harder it will be to understand and communicate what was impacted by the ad. I'm still seeing ads on Instagram and Facebook as a user, so something must be working. I'm wondering if this is more of a data display issue than a delivery issue. Based on my 15 years of experience with these types of issues, I probably wouldn't turn off ads today. I expect Facebook to make a good of any issues losses. Of course, I believe that Facebook is going to give a refund for all of that, or maybe 50%, whatever, but I know that a lot of people are very angry with them, and most probably they will have to do it. That could take weeks or months, or might even happen, or might never happen, but I've usually had it refunded. That's also true. Sometimes they don't give refunds, but here we're talking about something global, so I believe that they're going to. Screenshots everything, document the direct and indirect, add a business impact clause. This is why making changes or pauses or pausing complicates that. Write a firmly worded email to your Facebook rep outlining everything. Set reminders to bug them about it every week until it's refunded. There are plenty of reasons to turn ads off. If you feel unsure and you want to minimize any larger potential immediate losses and don't want to deal with Meta for a big refund, go for it. Very possible the damage has already been done and making changes or turning off ads might be unnecessary anyway. The funniest thing that I have seen, it was one person in Twitter saying that you should close all of your ads, don't be stupid and everything, and 3 hours later doing a tweet saying don't close your ads because some accounts are getting restricted because they're closing the ads very fast. Well, as this guy is saying here, and I totally agree, the sad truth is that in most cases when this is happening, you can do nothing about it. And you can be mad and you can close all of your ads, okay, but if your business depends on Facebook ads, then you have to see how you're going to work with that, instead of being mad and saying that I don't like Facebook, I don't like Meta, and I don't like all the things that they are doing. One more note just before we close the video. So basically, what could be the worst case scenario if everybody was going to leave their ads open? Basically, they were going to have a very bad day, which was Sunday, and the next day the ads were going to start normally spending in that way. So in other way, if you keep them open, you're not losing, and of course now that a lot of people have closed them, it's going to be better for us because we have all data and we have convinced my clients and we have convinced friends and everybody to keep them, while other people, they have panicked and they closed them. So in both cases, it wasn't going to be something disastrous or something crazy, unless if Facebook wasn't going to fix it like it fixed it, and it was going to be like this for the next 5 days. Okay, but in the other case, still, even if everybody was leaving their ads open and do nothing, the next day it was going to be a normal day with all of the ads running all over again, with all the damages that we could have across campaigns, and we will have to manage and optimize. So that's all I had for you. I had several things to say, and I hope that it helped you. In the next days, most probably you will have to launch ads. Keep into your mind that there are a lot of people that are going to be trying to make ads. For those of you that you were patient enough or you didn't understand anything and you just left your ads, it's better, and you will see it in the next days. You will have less competition. Today, so far, the CPMs are very low, and it's because a lot of people close their ads, but I believe that they're going to rise later tomorrow. Maybe some people didn't start yet ads because they are waiting to see what Meta is going to do. But in all of this situation, I believe that the ones that they didn't close their ads, they're going to have an advantage against the others. In general, if you have a Facebook rep or if you don't, send them an email, ask for a refund, explain to them the situation, and most probably Meta should refund everyone, because this is something that it's in a global scale and happened everywhere. Be patient, guys, be creative and be consistent, and I will see you in a future video.